Hello and welcome to the Arrowhead Addict podcast with a special bonus edition episode. I'm here with Jaaron Hayek, one of the newest members of the Kansas City Chiefs. Jaaron, I'd love to give you a chance just to say, hey, how you're doing, and like what Chiefs work comprised your day today, here on this Friday. We were just talking about this earlier.
Yeah. Well, first off, I appreciate you having me on, Matt. So we're currently in the middle of OTAs right now, phase three, and today we had a rookies lift as the rest of the team went off to the White House for their celebratory Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to bring that up and even start there because, I mean, one, for the guys who are just wrapped up their rookie deals, like you're stepping into this rookie cycle, hoping obviously to carry that out to its completion. The guys who just did so, who came in with the rookie class, finished up 4 years, ended up going to the Super Bowl 3 of those years, won two rings in that process, helped establish a dynasty. And then all you got to do is look at any preseason ranking and know, yeah, the Chiefs are chasing their third, they're favorites to make it again. It just seems like it's not going to end as long as Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid, and company are going on, knowing that most of the guys you were just hanging out with this week are all dressed in the nines and like at the White House. Let's just start there. Like, is joining the Chiefs a surreal thing like I would think it would be?
Yeah, I think, like you said, you look at any preseason rankings, and I kind of was talking about this with a couple of guys the other week that put myself in my shoes last year, or just as a fan, as I obviously once was of the NFL, just watching from the outside. You would think, you're crazy if you think the Chiefs are gonna, even last year, you're crazy if you think they're gonna two-peat, and then if you said it again this year, you're crazy if you think they're gonna three-peat. Like I said, as an outsider, it seems insane, but having been in the building now for almost a month, you can you realize why
Hmm.
they have such a winning tradition, and why Coach Reid has these guys and this team set up for success. And so when you say, again, on the outsider's perspective, you might tell someone they have a very good chance of repeating. They're going to look at you crazy, but having been a part of it now and seeing how these guys work and come every day, and how the coaches approach every day, every meeting, every practice, it's definitely a championship culture here. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like you said, Pat, as long as Pat's here, he's bringing them again back to it.
When you mention that, like it's pretty easy, to maybe hear something general like that. Oh, when you go in the building, you you could tell something is special. But like, can you quantify that? Like when you mention that, it's just kind of this intangible fog of greatness. But like
Yeah,
specifically, can you put some legs to that?
yeah. I think for one, the way Coach Reid has control over the entire team. I think, once he steps in the meeting room, everyone, obviously stops talking what they're doing, but they're giving him their full attention. And what he has to say is important for what's to come, either today, that day, or the following days. And I think it starts from the top to bottom. So he's obviously not content with, winning a Super Bowl last year as he was. He went back to back. So I think he's bringing that same mentality again this year, where I like he hasn't the word Super Bowl doesn't come out of his mouth. Like he doesn't. I haven't heard him, talk to the team about last year yet. Obviously, besides visiting the White House today, but I haven't heard him, be content with where we are. But obviously, Coach Reid to start, and then the veterans. It's funny to say. I mean, obviously, how many years some people have played, but if you didn't, you wouldn't know if someone was a rookie or if someone was in their 10th year.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is everyone goes in with the same mentality of getting better every single day. And I don't think there's a guy on this roster and this team right now that is just content with where they are in their career. And they know, every day is, something can happen to them and you can get cut any day. And, the way Pat comes to practice every day and wants to get better, You can tell he's not coming in here saying, "Yeah, I just went back-to-back Super Bowls. I'm going to coast through these OTAs." And in reality, he doesn't even have to be here, and he hasn't missed a day yet. So, um, just the leadership from the older guys, and guys who are veterans that are attacking every single day, like they're trying to make the team still. I think that's the biggest difference. I think across the league, or at least I know they're serious about their work here every single day.
Yeah. Obviously, you want to talk about your role with the Chiefs, but I want to go back a little bit. I want to give some of our viewers, listeners, readers a better understanding of just who you are as a player and person. Can you take me back to NFL draft weekend? Like, how did you spend that, and what was that emotional process like watching that unfold and then having things turn out like they did?
Yeah, so there was a lot of ups and downs. I actually had my end of the year banquet from Villanova. We celebrated our season where we won a conference championship. So
Yeah,
I had that banquet that day. I live about an hour and a half from the school, so I drove down with my parents. We celebrated that, and while the draft was happening, so I got back probably the beginning of the sixth round, and kind of knowing I wasn't going to get drafted, but just expecting some phone calls either from my agent or teams where, hey, we're looking to sign you afterwards. I never got anything, so I kind of just watched the whole entire draft unfold, and it got to post draft, and my phone still didn't ring, and took about 30 minutes until finally I got a call from the Chiefs, and they asked me if I would be interested in coming out for a rookie minicamp. I knew the opportunity that was here, to go compete for a spot for the Super Bowl champions. I was super excited about it, but at the same time, a little bit down that I didn't get signed.
sure.
But I thought it was a great opportunity, like I said. So we just jumped at my agent and myself jumped on that, and we committed to coming out here for the rookie minicamp.
Yeah. In that moment, I mean, were you were you always thinking, yeah, I'm in this all the way, I'm pursuing this all the way, or is there a part of you that also thinks about, okay, well, when life calls me outside football, I'm starting to make some plans in that direction too.
Yeah, so it's funny you asked that because it was actually a week prior to the draft. I live in North Jersey, so I live very close to New York City. So about a week prior, I actually visited, um, one of the connections I made into for a finance job. Just to
Hmm.
get an idea, just to set up the connection. Because, like you said, I don't know what's going to happen draft weekend,
Yeah.
or even if I do get a chance, if I get injured. But so I had met with a company, a finance company, a firm out in New York City a week prior to the draft, just to get things set up prior to whatever's going to happen. So I got that call, and I knew it was going to be a put on hold for at least 3 more days because I get to go and compete, for a roster spot on the defending Super Bowl champions.
Yeah. Take me into that. Take me into that because one, I know that the rookie minicamp, obviously there are guys who are guaranteed spots. They've been drafted or maybe even not drafted, but there's a significant bonus and a vision for probably how they're going to use them. And those are good bets to last at least through the preseason, training camp, etc. But when you look at the roster, we see it media wise, like it's a whole team in itself of rookies who show up for a rookie minicamp for the Chiefs are it's like the whole depth chart just looks like its own team unto itself.
Right.
And so I wonder, like, if I'm putting myself in your shoes, I wonder if I'm showing up going, oh my gosh, there's like, I mean, so many of me here in a way. Did it feel like that?
Yeah, it definitely did. So I was shocked to, number one, even see the amount of people, like you said, that
Sure.
were invited. And I don't know everybody at that time, so I don't know who is currently on the practice squad. Which there was a couple of guys. I don't know who was signed. I know maybe like a few guys that were drafted. But like I said, I don't know everybody. I don't know everybody's status there. So I went into there with the mentality of that doesn't really matter.
Hmm.
At that point, it's what I do. It doesn't matter from going next to draft a guy, sign guy. But I think my mentality was just to I do whatever I need to do to the best of my capability, and that that's kind of all I can do. I
Yeah.
can't push it more than that, and clearly it was enough to show the coaching staff that to earn me another opportunity to stay on the team, which was a surreal moment when that happened as well.
Hmm. But by the way, are you good at that? Are you good at sort of shutting out the things that could distract you and or maybe provide some resistance and just honing in like that?
I mean, it's tough. I'm not going to sit here and say I do that all the time because I
Yeah.
definitely don't. But once leading up to it, I definitely do not. But once I'm in the moment, I kind of just say this. I mean, I can't do anything more than my best. Like
Hmm.
that's and if that's all I do and it's not enough, then so be it. But if if it works out, it works out. So um, I don't I don't necessarily think I'm good at it, but I do have used it in the past and it obviously worked.
Yeah. I want to get at this from a couple angles. One, you said you weren't expecting to be drafted. And but maybe, hoping for some phone call or maybe to be surprised, whatever that was. Um, Yet you were preparing in the pre-draft season, like hopeful there. And like I guess I wonder how you handle that tension, like what you want. And did you have a clue it would be the Chiefs if someone were to call?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I honestly didn't handle it very well. I
Okay.
was, I you meet a bunch of other draftees throughout either training or
Yeah.
just people you played with, played against, grew up with, and talking to them throughout the process. You hear, oh, I just had a Zoom call with this team. I got a top visit with this team, or I had a phone call with this team. This guy called me. So I had a bunch of situations where that had happened to me, hearing guys, have actual phone calls or meetings or visits with teams, and where I had nothing. I mean, the only really communication I had with teams was either at my pro day or at the College Gridiron Showcase, which is an event that was held all the way back in January.
Wow.
And those were only like the 3 or 4 teams, and that was also the only time that I talked to the Chiefs was back in January. So yeah, I
Interesting.
mean, hearing like I said, all those guys talk about them communicating with teams was definitely very stressful for me. Um, so that's kind of why I knew, for one that I wasn't going to be drafted. But then again, I was just hopeful for, just an undrafted signing. I thought, the production I had in college at a Division I level was enough to get signed, but it wasn't, and that's kind of where it left me.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that production. You weren't invited to the NFL Combine, right? But some of your pro day like measurements and metrics would have put you in line with some of the very best marks at the combine. Was there a feeling there of like, man, if someone would just look, like, the goods are here, right? Like, is there a chip? Was there a chip in that kind of way?
Yes, there definitely was. I actually kind of specifically set my goals based off of combine numbers.
Okay.
I thought, for that reason exactly, I thought, if I can rank top 10, top five in these categories, and that'll be able to, get out there to front offices and they could see that, those they could see that I did belong at the combine as well with a bunch of those guys. So I think that, yeah, to answer your question, I that was kind of my goal was to, be in these top categories regarding the receivers, times and measurements.
Yeah. You said you didn't talk to the Chiefs except for that time in January.
Yep,
But it feels like the Chiefs knew something about Villanova football because Nick Torres is signed
yep,
to the roster. There were three of you from Nova at the minicamp, right? Or at the tryout rookie, yeah, rookie minicamp and
yep.
tryouts. I mean, did you find out after the fact that they'd had some inside information there? I mean, with someone going, "Hey, you got to get my guys to your camp. Trust me, you're gonna love them." Did you figure out any ties there, or it just seems like a disproportional amount of Villanova faces at rookie minicamp, does it not?
It definitely does. Um, I didn't find out till I mean, I obviously knew that Coach Reed coached in Philly, and he lived in the same town that Villanova was is in. So I knew he knew of the area and of the school. Um, I know a few coaches on staff had either spent a little bit of time at Villanova or they either played or coached at our rival school, Delaware. So they know of the conference, they knew of the football, but in terms of front offices and area scouts, I don't know. I don't know if there was a direct connection like that. But the only thing, I mean, we had a player from Tano Passanio who was on the
Yeah,
Chiefs a couple years back. He's a Villanova guy, and um, guys that like Brian Westbrook and Howie Long who came from Villanova. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is that our school isn't unknown for
sure.
football. I mean, we're more known for basketball, but we have actual Hall of Famers that kind of came from our school. So I think the area scout for the Chiefs just did a great job of finding some diamonds in the rough. And I think it was an awesome, awesome experience to have the three of us, like you mentioned, at the rookie mini camp,
Hmm.
having just gone played 5 years with these dudes and being here, having an NFL opportunity at the same exact squad is pretty awesome. And then eventually, me and Nick signing with the both of us to the team. We talk about it almost every week. It's we're a Division I AA school, and two kids got signed in the same year to the same team, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And defending champs at that.
Hmm.
Um, hey, by the way, maybe it was I mean, you had a big game against Delaware. Brett Veach, I mean, the man who holds the whole keys to if he's watching his former team, maybe he was onto something there of like, all right, if you're going to beat my team, you're going to join me here. Hey, what do the Chiefs tell you why they're signing you? Do they tell you like, hey, here's what we love about your game. Here's what we want to see you doing with us? Do they talk about the fit and a lot of that stuff?
Um, Not necessarily. It was more of a conversation about my performance during those 3 days of the rookie minicamp,
Yeah.
and was just praised and told about how I handled myself, and I made plays throughout the camp that they liked, and the way I think to give you an answer was the biggest thing was probably the way I consumed the playbook and how quickly I understood it was probably the biggest thing, or at least if I had to guess, um, what they liked about me.
Yeah. Were you aware during the weekend that you're like that you're beginning to stand out, earn some coaches' trust, turn some heads in that way?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I was super grateful for the first day to have just multiple targets to come my way. Just to have the ability to make a play,
Hmm.
which was awesome, and I capitalized on every opportunity that I had that day. So after the first day, I felt really good going into the second. Got right back into my playbook because it's a whole new set of plays, and just was just praying for the opportunity to have the same opportunities that I did as day one to get those targets. Because if I didn't get those targets, I wouldn't have been seen as much. But to answer your question, after the first day, I felt good. I knew obviously it wasn't a guarantee. I knew I had 2 more days to go, but definitely gave me a boost of confidence knowing that I can hang with guys in the NFL.
Yeah. 1 month, you're 1 month in. You're through some OTAs, mandatory mini camp on the horizon. How are you settling into um maybe being called Kansas City Chiefs receiver Jaaron Hayek? I mean, how does that sound? How are you feeling about it? And how are you and like are you kind of over the like does it feel like just going to work now?
I think I'm like right on the horizon.
Okay.
It's because again, it's not mandatory to be here, but you get some big name guys that walk in the door that you haven't seen yet,
Hmm.
and it kind of strikes me right back down to, oh wow, like I'm a Kansas City Chief, like I'm an NFL wide receiver. So when Travis walked into the door for the first time, is like, oh, okay, like I'm on this team. Like I
Sure.
remind me of Chris Jones' first day. Um, it's just like, okay, wow, like I'm part of this now. So, but prior to that, before those guys were walking in, it's just you get to see the same guys every day, and you're okay. Like this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm here for. This is my job. But like I said, once you see those big names, you're like, take a step back real quick, and you're like, wow, like I'm really a part of this.
Sure. How are you feeling about the receiver room and your part in it?
I mean, I think the room's great. I don't think these guys get enough credit for how talented they really are. Um, this is a very talented group of receivers in this room. It's been awesome to be a part of. I think I've learned, at least one thing from each wide receiver that's in the room, whether it be how they run a route, how they release, how they view a certain coverage, or how they, practice habits, something like that. But like I said, I don't think this group gets enough credit for sure. I mean, again, we're talking about NFL wide receivers. No one's bad. They're all very talented, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it. And whatever my role may be, and I'm just continuing to put my head down. And again, same way I did in rookie minicamp, just make the most of my opportunities when it comes my way. The few reps I get during practice, whether it be with the twos or threes, and then just eventually, hopefully, make some plays during training camp and preseason.
Yeah. Um, Jaren, just a couple more for you. I did want to give everyone the chance to get to know you like off the field. Like there are other dimensions to you, I'm assuming, than the game of football. When you're not playing, what are some other things that you enjoy? Do you have hobbies or other outlets that you ways you spend your time?
Yeah, so I'd put golf at number one,
Okay.
like many other players. I love golfing. I love being outside with my friends on the course for, you know, 4 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours at a time. Just it's a very peaceful time out there. And then, just video games, some shows. Um, not much after that. I enjoy listening to music. I like just being out and about. Um, but I'd put golf and video games as my top two for sure.
All right. Yeah, I just wasn't sure what else comprised your
Yeah.
your life like that. Um well, hey, looking forward, your role in the team, probably special teams is going to be real pivotal. Um how does that sound to you? Have you talked to Dave Tobe about those things? Um and even you had a little bit of return experience at Villanova, like kick returns early, punt returns late, is that right?
Yep.
Like how like can you kind of comment on special teams and your maybe your role there?
Yeah. So I'm currently. I mean, I'm in the depth for every special team at the moment. Um, I'm not returning, but I do practice returns pre-practice with the guys.
Okay.
Um, but no, again, there hasn't been a specific conversation with Coach Toe about where I land, but I'm getting some gunner reps on the outside or on kickoff, and then kick return on the front line. With the new kickoff rules. I mean, I'm sure you've heard
Yeah.
a bunch about it, but Coach Toe's super juiced up about it, and trying to find the right guys for these new schemes that no one's ever seen before. So, like I said, I'm on every special team right now, and I plan on hopefully climbing the depth chart, because it's kind of what you need to do if you're not the number one and two receiver. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing me an increased role, and hopefully, obviously, eventually breaking the ones or twos.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy, we certainly appreciate your time today. For all of the hand wringing and maybe frustration of the last 6 months, you're now a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. Congratulations to you. And
Thank you,
we
man.
we certainly look forward to following you throughout the preseason and wish you all the best.
Really appreciate it.
You got it. You got it. Thanks again, man.